Welcome to the first tutorial in the series Facial Rig using blend shapes and some basic joints. In this tutorial, we'll work on eye rig and then gradually go on with other controllers. So if you check this mesh, I have recorded the introduction video where you can just go through the requirements and also understand the mesh file. Right now, I'll just hide the two layers, the mouth inside layer, mouth layer, and the cap layer. Okay, next thing is I'll come back to the side view, create joints. I'll create a joint for neck, head joint. Head joint is a joint where it's like at the jawline and all the stuff, and one joint for the jaw controller and jaw. Right now, I'll create one joint at the center of the eyeball. If I come to the front view, I can say it. See, I'm just moving exactly the center of the eyeball. Can you see the eyeball? That's how it's selected. Now, once it is done, I'll use Ctrl D, move it back. Now select this joint, the joint which is in the eyeball. Select the joint which we moved back and parent it. Now select this joint. We'll call it as a control joint. Then shift select the head joint. We'll call this as head joint. Okay. What I'll do is that I'll rename it and I'll show you. I rename the joints. I can show you. This is called neck joint, character neck joint, head joint, jaw joint, and then jaw end. You can see the naming convention. I'm using C underscore, the name of the joint, underscore joint. And also this is eye control joint, left eye control joint. This is eye. Once it is done, I'll select this eye joint, duplicate it twice, and rename this as upper lid joint, and the other one lower lid. Okay, once it is done, I'll select the control joint, go to skeleton, mirror joint, option box. Here the options I'm going to use is YZ, search for L, that is because we have gone for L as namespace, and replace with R, right side. And then here I'm not going for behavior in general, I'm going for orientation because I just want to maintain the same orientation for the eye joints. Okay, apply. Now once you do it, you will have some problems here. If you check here, it comes R upper lid, so just change it with L. And here also I'll just change it to lower joint. Now I got this surface. Now the next thing is that we'll select the root joint, the neck joint, shift select the surface, the head surface. Okay, this is called head. So root joint, shift select the head, skin, bind skin. Okay, I'm not using any settings, I'm just default settings. Now it's done. Okay. Next thing is that I want the whole head should be under the influence of head. Then I'll paint the weights. So I'll select the head, go to skin, paint weights, option box. So if you name it properly, you can easily select the joints and all the stuff and work it out. So I'll select the head joint and replace it with 100%, that is one value, flood it. Then select the neck joint. I'll replace it with one value, 1. Okay, and I'm using a hard brush, can you see, and a very small brush. and I'm painting only one half, that is on the left hand side. Okay. Okay, once it is done, you can click on select or move tool, then select the head mesh, go to skin, mirror skin weights option box. You don't need to change because we are always working on YZ axis. If you remember, when we mirrored the joints, we mirrored in YZ, we'll follow it, and positive to negative. That's the only thing, the default thing, mirror it. Now if you select the surface, double click it, it's done. Now what I'll do is that with the next joint still selected, I'll click on smooth and flood it so that it smooth blends. We'll paint the widths gradually. We are nowhere in a rush. Next thing is that I don't want this right eye joint and the left eye joint under the influence of the surface, because when you selected the root joint and applied, and it will create an hierarchy. All the joints of the in the hierarchy will be bind in the under the influence of the binding. So we need to remove the two joints, that is left eye joint, hold control, and the right eye joint. We don't want the two joints under this influence. So select these two joints, shift select the surface, go to skin, edit influence, remove influence. Okay, before that one, I'll show you. Let's take, if I select right joint, this is what it is happening. Okay, because we removed the weights. Oh, we should, if we didn't remove the weights and if we tested, you would have seen it. But right now, that's fine. So select left eye, right eye, and the surface, skin. But we need to do this one, edit influence, and remove it. So right now, these two joints are not nowhere linked to the surface. Once we break the connection using edit influences, it's here, edit influence, and remove. What we'll do is that we'll select the eyeball, that is the left eyeball, and then select the left eye joint using control. If you hold control and left eye joint and parent it P. Now select the right joint eyeball, right joint, and P. Once it is done, if you want, you can select the right eyeball, and if you want, can I say left eyeball? If I select the left eye joint, it's done. Now we need to paint some weights to get some more clarity. Excuse me. So select the surface, go to skin, paint weights, option box. What I'll do is first I'll select left eye upper joint. Nothing is there because we moved all the influence back into the head joint. So select the upper joint. We know this is upper joint. Use a small brush, replace with hard brush one value. Okay, I'm happy. We'll clean it up afterwards. Now go to the lower. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. We can't mirror, somehow we have to redo it. So upper, generally we should be in a position to mirror it somehow. It's not working for me. So here, okay, now I did it. What I'll do is that I'll just use bit of smooth and flood it. Same thing, one time, that's enough. We don't, and flood it. Here there's some more influence is still there under the upper lid, so I can just go to replace and say 0. Okay, now Go here. It's left. Y is still here. That's one. Okay. So I'll just use a little bit of flood, smooth and flood it. Okay. Better flooding it. What I'll do, I'll just use smooth. And always paint in black. Don't paint it in white. Okay. Now I'll do the same thing for the lower. See, if I don't want this one, I can always replace it with 0. Okay. Now come back here, upper, smooth. Okay, now select the lower. Okay, let's hope for the best, or else we can start cleaning it up. So now this is done. I close the sorry, paint weights for the time being. And if I want, I can just select the left upper lip joint, and if I rotate it, I'm getting some effect. That's fine. Lower lid, it's working. We can paint the weights. That's why it's a tedious job. We need to spend some decent time and clean it up. I showed you the procedure, but you can paint the weights laterwards a little bit. As of right now, we are working on it at this level. This is fine. Sorry. Now I have provided a script for you guys to work on iRig. It's straightforward. So I put this is the test final iRig. Okay. Here, if you check it out, select the joints in order. I control, I joint, upper lid and lower lid. So I'll come here. So I'll select control joint, left control, I joint, upper lid and lower lid. Okay. Now click. Here we got this small error. Why? Because right now, why I'm showing you is because it changes. Right now, the eyeball, it's pointing towards Z axis. The aim is Z axis. So if I right click on my script and edit, right now here, can you see aim constraint? It's on X axis. So I'll just change it to 0 and 1. That's the only thing you can do. Just click on here. Now once again, click on left control. Okay. Pick it. Now if you want to test it, you can select the controller. Done. That's the only thing. Because if you select sorry, right eye joint, it's pointing towards Z axis. So you need to just change a bit of it in your, if you scroll here, aim constraint script, you have to just change the aim vector to the different axis, whichever axis you need. This is X, Y, and Z. That's the only thing you need to do. Maybe I'll update the script like gradually, but right now, you should know when you get a script, how to work and all the stuff, you should know. So now, control, I joint, upper lid, lower lid. Now if I select this one, it's working. Now done. Now we need to create some controllers, a small basic control where we can create the movement of the eyeball. Right now, I have to select these two things. This is how it's done. Okay, but when you're rigging, you don't want to select the space locators. You would like to create some your own controllers, right? So let's start doing that one. So come back to front view. I'll create a circle, move it here. I just created a circle, and if you double click it, it's on Z axis. That's why I got it like this. Now change sections to 4 and then degrees to linear. So it's straight. Then rotate it 45 degrees, freeze it, scale it down, up, and then modify, freeze it. So I got this thing. Okay, this one I'm using for the upper eyelid and all the stuff. So what I'll do is I'll just move it a little bit up. Okay, this is fine. Modify, freeze it. Now I'll select the same thing, Control A. I'm just changing a bit of shape like this. It's exactly the center. I'll freeze it. Okay, both. This is for the eyelids. Okay, these controllers are for the eyelids. Now, if I move this position, I'll just try to go for 2.5 or maybe 3 and 3. So if I go to 3, I'll know how much I need to scale. Modify, freeze it, move it to 0. Okay, these are the controllers. Now delete the history. Now I just want to move it only in up and down axis. Okay, that's the only thing which I'll be doing. But before that, I need to parent it to the controller. Okay, so how to parent it? It's straightforward. You can just select it and parent it. That's what you guys do. But what I recommend is that first create Control G and empty group. And nothing is there. Just press Control G and then hold V and snap it here. Sorry, X. It's you. Modify, freeze it. Okay. Now if I go to Windows Outliner, you should have that controller here. It's a null group. This one I'll call it as right eye upper lid CTRL, copy it and name this as group and drag this controller under the group. So right now I got controller and the group on top of it. Then this one will be right eye min max. You can just put, okay, so that you know that this is a min max. Now drag this thing under min max. So if I select it, I can move it anywhere but this one. Okay, now zero it out. Now this one I'm moving only 5 in y-axis, 5 in -5 axis, and I'm not moving in any other axis. So I'm moving only in one axis, that is y. So drag and select everything and hold Control, deselect y, right click, lock and hide selected. So now you can just move it only in one axis. But if you see, it's still going out of the reach. So just go to attribute editor with the controller selected, click on right click controller, limit information, translate. It's only y-axis, so activate y, and that should be -5 and 5. So if I select this control, what did I do? Trans y. Yeah, it's not 5. You should it's 3. Okay, 3, 3. And I can always move it wherever I want it, but this is 3 and 3. Got it? Now I'll put it here. This one I'll zero it out. Now if I select this one, Control A, move it side. Here I don't want R, so I'll just change it to left, got it? So right now we have something like this to control the eyelids. This is upper eyelid, left upper eyelid. Now the same thing we need for the lower eyelids. So select these two things, Control A. I can move it like this, or if you want, you just put it like this. This one, I'll move it. Okay, and if I want, I can just move it like this. So this will be lower lid, and this will be the upper lid. So I'll select this one. So this should be right eye, right eye. But if you select this one, it should be lower. That's the only thing we need to change. If I click on upper arrow, see I got upper. Okay, so please change it. That's what because you may be feeling a little bit bored already, but these controllers are very important thing. But next lesson, I'll try to create a small script and give it to you so that you can start creating your controllers instantly. Okay, now once it is done, let's hope everything is done. Now we need to create one more controller to create a link between these two objects. So what I'll do, I'll just select this one, same thing, Control A, move it side. This time, vertex, okay, it's bit like a square. And then this one, so this one is moving y-axis, y-axis, but I also want x-axis. So how to get it back? We need that controller. So we can go to select the controller. We can go to edit, channel controller. Okay, and non-keyable, try to find out we need which axis is that one? That is X. So search for translate X, MOPQRST, translate Z, X, move it. We got it now, can you see? But it's locked, so click here, right click, unlock. Now we need to go back here, attribute editor. This one, sorry, -3, 3. So your control will not go beyond 3 and 3. So it's going around this one. Got it? But this will be right eyeball. And this will be right eyeball controller. Up arrow. I don't care about this thing, so eyeball group. Okay. Sorry. Control A, move it side. So I can select all these controllers. Move it side. This should be left. You need to give a solid control to the animator, and the moment you give full control to the animator, he'll be more confident when he's working on his animation. So right now I got my controllers. Okay, in this lesson I'll stop it with linking these two things with a controller, the eyeball, and then these controls we'll do in the second lesson. Is it clear? That's fine. Now this one, when it is moving in x-axis, this eyeball, this locator should move some units. Okay, so select this controller. Now if you go to animation, key, set driven key, set option box, this is the driver and locator is the driven. Okay, driven. and translate X and translate X. It's straightforward because if it moves an X, they should move. Okay. Now select this one, move it 5 units. You can select the eye locator here, go for maximum. I think this is fine. Okay. Now go this side, select the locator, maximum. And that's fine. Okay. So if I select this one, that should work. Now we'll select the translate Y of the controller and translate Y in the locator. Okay. Now move it up, select this locator. Okay. Move it down. Okay. So if I select this controller, you should get this one. Okay. Now zero it out. Now select this controller, load driver, load driven, translate X, set key. First I'll move it that side because it should be negative this side. So we need to select this one. That is fine. Key. Move that side. Key. Zero it out. Now select Y and Y. Key. Move it up. Key. Down. Key. Now if you close it. Now if I select this controller, okay, put 0. Now I can select these two controllers. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. In the next lesson, we'll try to work on upper lid and lower lids, and also start working on the second controllers for the eyelids. See you in the next lesson. Bye.